All right, so we learned about tangent graphs and a little bit about the tangent equation. Today we're going to do the sine and cosine equation. This is it says sine here, but you can substitute in cosine, and it's the same exact equation, the same amplitude, period, and so on. So okay, can also be written. All right, so from the equation, so from the graph, we got a bunch of information, and now from the equation, we're going to get a bunch of information, and we're going to be using that information to graph and answer questions about them, I guess. So the amplitude, that is just your A. That's this one, but it's the absolute value of A, because remember, it's going to be always positive. We haven't had to deal with it being negative yet, because we're writing the number down, and we just counted. Okay, the period is 2 pi, always 2 pi over b. So this is b right here. That's 2 pi over b. That's it. So if you know b, you can figure out the period. The frequency, same as before, it's 1 over the period. But this is just a shortcut way of writing the reciprocal. So 1 over the period just means keep, change, flip. So if you were to keep, change, flip this period here, it would be b over 2 pi. So it's the same thing, whatever one works better for you. Once you find the period, you just flip it, or you can just do b over 2 pi. It's really just up to you. Midline. So the next two pieces are ones that we've done an excessive amount of since the beginning of the year. So when it's added to the equation, it's a vertical shift. So this guy right here, the midline, is also, I don't know why I went purple. Yeah, that's purple. Wow. Sorry. Vertical shift. So the midline and the vertical shift are the same thing. So y equals d is the equation of the midline. So if something is being added to the equation, it's the midline. And then inside the parentheses, this is your left and right movement. So remember, d is up and down, c is left and right. So the horizontal shift is, left or right movement. I don't think I have to write that down. It's pretty obvious. But the problem is, which really stinks, is sometimes they give two different equations. And the horizontal shift is the only thing that's affected by these two equations. So one equation has b looking like this, where it's outside of the parentheses. There's extra parentheses, but it's outside of the x. So in other words, there's a parenthesis in between the x and the b. Okay, that's considered an outie. And innie, like the belly button, and innie is where there is nothing in between the b and the x. And the only thing that this affects is the horizontal shift. And this is the only time it matters. We don't do this in graphing. We don't do this in anything. You will in the future, but not in this class. Okay, so you have to understand this just as its own entity. So when it's an innie here, sorry, it says outie, I can read. When it's an outie here, it's literally just the same as we've always done, where it's the opposite direction. It's a horizontal shift just like we've always done. So it's the opposite direction. C. So, we'll do some examples, but for example, if we had b here and then we had x minus 2, this would go to the right too. It's the same as we've always done. Okay, this one has a little extra problem here. So it's still the opposite direction. So whatever the sign is, it's always the left, whatever. But the difference is that b has a difference, and you actually have to divide it out. So really what's happening is you're factoring out a b out of the whole thing. So this is opposite direction c divided by b. So if we had something like 2x plus 4, it would be 4 over 2, which is 2. And then since it's positive, this would go to the left. Okay? So it's the same concept. It's just if there's a number out here, you got to divide by it. Okay? That's it. So the horizontal shift is C over B in the opposite direction. Okay. The range is just the min value to the max value, but that's not what we care about here because it's an equation. It's actually, the equation would be the min value would be D minus the amplitude, which is the absolute value of A, and the max would be D plus the A. So, and then the range is just the min to the max, the little brackets. Okay, so let's just do a couple examples so you can see the difference between them and how they work. So the amplitude is the absolute value of A. So let's just write letters here. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Okay, so it's the absolute value of A. So it's 3. The period is 2 pi over B. So B is 2. Remember, the only thing that affects this innie and outie is the horizontal shift. Everything else works exactly the same, so there's no difference. Okay, the frequency is, remember, it's 1 over pi. It's just 1 over the period. So the period was pi, so it's 1 over pi. So it's 1 cycle every pi. That's all that it's saying. Horizontal shift, this is an innie. Oh, look, I used 2 and 4 in the example. So remember, it's C over B. So this is 2. And since it's negative, it's going to the right. Vertical shift, that's your D. So it's 4 up. And remember, the midline is just y equals the D, whatever D is. And then the range is the one that you have to do the most work for. So it's D minus, oops, I don't have to write the D. D in this case is 4. So we're doing the min here. So it's 4 minus 3, which is 1. And the max, 4 plus 3, which is 7. So it's 1 to 7. This graph is going to go up and down, where the lowest value is going to be 1 and the highest value is going to be 7. Okay, so as you can see, there's cosine in this one. There's a couple of things that are a little different, look a little different in this one. First off, we're using cosine, but that doesn't affect anything. What's weird about this one is when we do the amplitude, you have to take the number that's in front of the cosine. That's multiplied times the cosine. So in this case, it's going to be 1. This 5 can be put on either side. It doesn't make any difference. So I wanted to show you an example where the 5 was on like the wrong side. So you could just see that it's not a problem. It's just if you add to a 4 on this side, or if you put the 4 over here, it didn't, not over there. I meant, whatever, you know what I mean. Okay, the period, so the 1 is the amplitude. It's the absolute value of 1, which is just 1. The period is 2 pi over, and this is your 2. Okay, the frequency is 1 over pi. It's the same as this one. So you notice the 2 is here and the 2 is here. It doesn't affect anything except this horizontal shift. So the horizontal shift, in this case, x is by itself. There's a parenthesis separating it. So it's just pi over 2. And it's positive, so it's moving to the left. Vertical shift up and down, that's this guy. So it's up 5 because 5 is positive here. The midline is y equals that 5. And the range is 5 minus 1, 5 plus 1. So it's 4 and 6. All right, that is all. I hope you have a great day and see you tomorrow.